Hey guys, so you guys know I like looking at stocks and prices of certain products, and obviously Wellness Guys can be one of them. Depending on the season, I'll look at one set more than other. Recently, I've been looking at sort of Shield more, but I've been looking at things like Prismatic and all that stuff. And there's like, so this is still speculation, might be too early, but it really does seem like Wellness Guys is going for a run, and this is what I noticed. So the strange thing that I noticed was just yesterday, so January 2nd. I made a table that looked like this, where I was trying to look at kind of pricing and quantity and why things are going up. I think that yesterday, Dr. Sablaze went to 210 and Evolving Sky shot up to 1200 when it was like at like 1,000 something, maybe 1100 sometimes, like low 1100s. But like I was watching the price for a few days and it wasn't like moving that much. Like in fact, I kept looking at the price. Like I've heard of $1,000 of Always Guys boxes. I feel like a week or two ago. I kept looking back, and there's some sold at that price, but some of the listings were still in the 900s, like 950 or something, or even like low 1000s. So when I was making the video, I was like, "Hey, Evolving Skies is like at 1200." Um, when did that happen? Um, and actually today, actually when I was making this video, I was compiling the data, and Evolving Skies increased from 1260 to 1300, which kind of supports kind of what I was gonna say in the video anyway. So I don't feel as bad saying this a little beforehand. But this was a weird thing. Okay, so if I sort yesterday's table by quantity, um, like usually what you see is that things about larger quantities means that like there's more pressure to keep the price lower because there's more sellers out there, um, and so you'll see things with um, let's look at like Silver Tempest. So let's see if it's actually a good example. So Silver Tempest is around the 210 mark right now. And if I look at these pricing, there's a lot of like 210s, and I look at the quantities, it's like a lot of one-on-one sellers, but there's one and two, and the prices are around 210. So it's kind of like with the current market at least, um, there's like enough buyers or there's enough sellers just keep the price there for a while. And this kind of happens with price things that have like are newer, more quantities. I have Surging Sparks pulled up somewhere. Um, that's kind of what you see with Surging Sparks. So Surging Sparks is a pretty like good example of that. So Surging Sparks recently had its price run, which I think I might want to make a video on that. It just keeps moving. So, but like everyone knows that there's still relatively, I'm gonna say relatively large quantity of Surging Sparks out there. Not that it shouldn't be valued higher or anything, but there's enough people who want to fight for the bottom in a sense. Because Surging Sparks, it was still released just like let's say 2 months ago, or 3 months ago. I'm forgetting at this point. Um, but like is there like usually like you need enough people who are kind of desperate enough to get the lower price and they want to undercut each other. With Surging Sparks, like one of the new phenomena is that since more people know about Pokemon investing, you see more people like this, these 0% feedback sellers, and they're not necessarily scams, or like they just don't have as many sales. But like a lot of them are probably people who or maybe people who actually have like distributor access who kind of got in. They bought it at the because like almost anyone could have gotten Searching Sparks at like 100 to 120 easily. Like all you had to do is go on a website, put in your credit card, and you have them. Um, like yeah, there's some people who canceled, but like it's not like we're at the point where like there's no Searching Sparks left. The thing that happens is that with larger booster boxes, like older booster boxes and more expensive booster boxes, you get this thing where like this can't happen as much. There's not as much of let's actual supply and available supply. So the weird thing about Evolving Skies is like it had the most quantity listed for Sword and Shield, so over 100 boxes. So just compared to everyone else, like as ever like I noticed like Future Strike had a really low amounts, um, but yeah, like just had a really large amount. But it's like it's a very deceptive large amounts, and here's why. Like the it's just shot to 1300. So someone when I was making the video, put like bought the one for 1260 or whatever. But then like you see these listings, they're one-on-one sellers, but the prices are dramatically different. Like usually like $50 different at least. So it's 1300. It's like 1500, another 15. So like the next set of prices that there's a lot lined up are 1500 right now. And what you kind of need is that you need someone to move here and lower their prices. And I'm not saying there's no one who will do it, but like Evolving Skies in the last like few days has actually gotten more popular. Like like this is like I like to compare different sets. So like Evolving Skies is considered a good set. It's also very hyped right now. It's also everyone knows that like you're probably not gonna necessarily lose money on all these guys. Like maybe if you get at the top and there's a crash or like I'm not saying there won't be a crash or whatever, but let's just compare it to like one of the lesser desire sets like Rebel Clash. Like do you see the sales data? Do you see these like graphs? There's like not a lot of graph data. Rebel Clash is like kind of expensive with 240, especially considering it's not a good set. But there's not a lot of like interest in it. So even though there's only 22 in there, like look, people would have to start buying more of it, and a lot of the pricing is like 240 to like it's in the 240s, 250s, but like some of these price jumps aren't like as significant. Um, because like usually what happens is that when something's selling that slow, someone will come and undercut. I'm gonna pull up like prismatic ETBs actually. Prismatic evolutions ETBs. Hopefully it gets okay. So prismatic evolution. Oh wait, that's Pokemon Center. Oops. TCG player. So Prismatic Evolutions hasn't been released yet, but there's been like it's been kind of stuck at this 128 mark for like the last few days. And what happens is that this like you see all the prices are around like $128. Everyone's trying to undercut each other. Like I think everyone selling thinks that the price is might crash or something, or they want to get in profits all they can, and so or maybe like they just actually need the money because you have to think about that sometimes. Sometimes people who are holding these products are leveraged and or they need to spend more money and they have to sell so they need money now so that will also cause prices to remain low. That's what happens with booster boxes a lot in the past, so you just see like a lot of and even with a lot of people buying like I've been watching Prismatic Evolutions ETBs for a while. It's like for the ETBs in particular, like there's just like enough competition right now where people are just like underbidding each other as far as selling goes. Evolving Skies yesterday like increased like there were four sales in the like 1150 to 1200 range, um and then someone just bought the 1261 and then now like someone has to list another one, but it's just like if the interest continues, there's just not enough quantity to be available. Like this is where like there's actual supply shortage in a sense. Even though there's a lot of people there, I'm guessing a lot of these listings here are just kind of like really high listings. So let's look if there's like anyone with like a lot. But a lot of these are actually like one of one sellers. Like there's like this person has like one of two, one of three, because like not everyone just has like a case of all these guys laying around. Oh, actually, a lot of them come from this guy. So this is why it's very deceptive. It's NNC Games. They put up 60. So honestly, yeah, it's because of this NSC guy that the quantity is like 60 more. If this guy wasn't there and he's only at 2,000, like that's still like 50% increase in market price. Um, so if you took off that 60, you get 51 boxes, and then so you see 51 boxes, then you suddenly get more normal. Like all these sets up here are like not good sets. Like Silver Tempest is mid, Battle Styles is bad, like Burn Stars is mid. Shining Rain is still maybe like a little higher than mid. Astral Radiance is mid. Like I'm saying mid compared to um like, what are the clear favorites? The clear favorites are Always Guys, Future Strike, and Lost Origin. And because of that, you see that these quantities for these boxes are lower. It's actually more realistic around the 50 range. Let's look at Future Strike. So Alex from Nostalgianomics talked about this, and it's that like people seem to be withholding their listings on TCG Player or listing them higher because they know that there's going to be a run. With Fusion Strike, you're kind of seeing like it kind of getting more. See, like the pricing is getting closer together, so it might be like stabilizing a little better, at least in the short term. And let's look at Lost Origin, because like you see, all this is like still in the 500 range. Um, Lost Origin, yeah, there's these like there's seven of these at 350, so they have to be bought out, and there's these 375. It's just like not as dramatic. Um, so yeah, this also the consequence that volume guys are so expensive because like actually this is why some people I actually like investing booster boxes more than other things sometimes because like if I were to sell I have some volume guys booster box I mean some Surgery Sparks booster boxes and some Surgery Sparks ETBs. So in general, like I've always like booster boxes are designed more in general, but also the thing is like um even if you were to give someone a discount on the price, like you can still make a decent amount of profit on like a booster box because like of course you just spend like that much more money. Your initial investment, like if you bought all these guys at MSRP, it's like 140. But if you bought like ATP, it's like 50. So there's just like not you put less money in, so there's less growth because there's less products and whatnot. Um, and so yeah, what you're kind of seeing is that like, because imagine if all these guys was $10,000. If all these guys was $10,000, then like yeah, in like a slower market, it's like oh, it went up like $10, $100. But honestly, for high dollar items, like the pricing discrepancy gets more, and so like it's not that surprising if people aren't paying. Like all you have to do is a lot of these sellers just have to not pay attention to the of all these guys boxes because honestly, a lot of people they don't have time to look at all their listings, or whatever, and that's why there's arbitrage situations like you don't have time to go like, oh, the price went up, I should change it. Um, it takes a lot of it takes a lot of time and energy to do that. Um, but it's just like all you have to do is not watch evolving skies, and then all of a sudden the price goes up, and you look back at oh, I want to like sell it, and you're like, well, ever since I waited a week, um, like people bought out, and now the market price is like $200 more, and that's actually what happened in the last few days. It's like $200 more, $200 more. Um, so yeah, it's just like because like this is something that like people are experiencing more in real time. It's that when booster boxes go up, they go up in like kind of cycles. I think I can. So this is a more. I don't always like price data charts, but like so people who have experience with booster boxes kind of know this. It's like whenever a booster box has a major price increase, people start selling out. So we're not at the same stage as like these other boxes of all these guys because they haven't had the run ups. Like Astral Radiance over here hasn't had people selling out as much because like it's only like recently just kind of gone up like to the $200 mark. If you bought because like so like if someone sells, someone else has to buy. So a lot of people who bought at like in the 100 range or 120 range, they already sold, and so people bought at higher prices and they wanted to appreciate or whatever. And for Evolving Skies, like it just already happened so many times. Like I remember like Evolving Skies finally hit like 200, and then people were like, "Oh my gosh, should I sell?" And this was when Sword and Shield was like slower. This was like October 22, and I think it reached like 300. People sold there, and then it reached like 400 for a while, and then people sold there, and then like there was a recent price jump all the way to like 600. So I'm sure a lot of people sold there, and then like you reach like suddenly like closer like at these higher levels, you're like, "Oh my god, it just jumped like $200," and then you're like, "Oh, I should sell there." But then like you kind of weed out the people who like either had like life situations or just don't have as much patience, I guess. And now like what you're left with is like more boxes have been opened because like people do like open evolving skies, or people are buying them at like a lot of these boxes have been bought at the higher prices and people are not willing to sell them because like you do like it does cost like a bit. Like imagine if you bought a TCG player, you spent $1,300 and you spent it's like just tax. Let's say tax was like say 5% to be like more conservative. That's what like 5, 10, $50. Is that really that low? Am I doing math wrong? Five times 10 is 50, and then 5 times 3 is it's like $65. That seems kind of low. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I think my tax in my area is higher. Um, but yeah, you're paying all these fees and stuff, and then if you're to sell it, like you have to pay TCG player a fee. So yeah, let's just maybe we could do that math. So like you buy 1,300 times. I'm gonna be conservative and just say 0.05. So that's 1,365. So you have 1,365 that you paid for, and then um, if you sell a TCG player, there's gonna be like a 30% fee usually. So like your box has already gone down to like um 1187 basically, and so the price has to go so much more up. So what divided by, so if you, let's say you wanted to make $100 on your box, so your target price is like 1,400, basically, essentially, like that's your net profit. Then divided by points, you need the box to rise up to like $1,600 to get the appreciation you want, and then minus the fees. Um, and so like that's what happens. Like a lot of people like I don't know exactly what box has to reach 1,600, but like it's like you you waited until one of these guys won $300 to make um minus the original 1365, right? That's no, it's like 600 price. Um, it's actually, so to make $35, you bought this box and you wait until it appreciate $300, and you just made $35. Like that's a lot of risk. That's a lot of money tied into evolving skies. So a lot of people are just gonna hold. Um, anyway, so I think I didn't show you the second chart. So yeah, sorry, I kind of forgot about this. So what I do is I put the January 3 prices, um, and yeah, like Evolving Skies, like just yesterday, it increased like $100. Lost Origin increased like $25. I'm recording this like probably a few hours, like some hours before actual prices are out. Everything else didn't really move, but unsurprisingly, like even if booster boxes get bought like a couple a day, like depending on when exactly I look at, like I'm doing this in the morning now, and I looked at these prices last night, so yeah, it takes a few days sometimes. But generally, what you're going to see is this sort of stuff. Like, there's going to be some boxes that don't move for like a day or two or three or four or five or six or seven, and you're going to see like some big price increases. But let's just see if there's any more notes. So, yeah, Evolving Skies has a large price, so just the price between each box on the market is going to be like dramatic. Plays up TCG player. It's already been through so many price cycles, so people who sold have already sold at the lower price, and then a lot of people now have bought in, like in the higher prices, and they need to wait longer for the things to appreciate. Um, or like they're just the more patient type who's like, hey, like I think Evolving Skies is going to run up a lot more. And actually, I agree. Like based on this trajectory, Evolving Skies does seem like it's going to run up a lot more. Um, we're out of the proof cycle. Like there's only so many cycles already. And then the last thing is sort of like fear scams. So I just like looked up Evolving Skies on like eBay. I don't really shop on eBay much. But it's like, okay, so what's it like, if TCG player gets too expensive, like can I get things on the open market? And like this is another effect of like older and more expensive booster boxes. Like people have already sold. And so like because it's much easier to get like a Silver Tempest booster box or Brilliant Stars booster box or whatever. But like people are more like I'm afraid to buy like, any of these. Like, there's this one of Honest Guys is Portuguese. I'm sure someone might buy that. Like, there's a lot of these are sponsored, so I don't know how much I trust sponsored. But this is already like the same thing as TCG Player. Um, this just seems very fishy to me. Like, why would you be like half the market price? This is this is like a load up of market price. I'm kind of like, if he, it seems like it's been there for a while because it's 85 watchers. But yeah, I'm kind of, so there's two stars of reviews. It's like I'm not really sure. You see, like I don't know how much I trust these people. Um, Versus like TCG player, I guess like there are more people with more positive feedback. Like see, like this has a lot of sales, so um, yeah, be a little more trusting of those. Like if I were to get in person, maybe. But even that, well, like also when things get so expensive, like um, getting things in person is like more and more dangerous. Um, yeah, this is like $1,100. This is still above market. Like I'm not seeing that many below the TCG regular price. It's $1,300. 1,400. This is a bid auction actually. Um, yeah, a lot of these people who are selling at the lower prices don't have a lot of reviews, so it's just like I don't know if I really trust these, but yeah. Anyway, so that's it for Evolving Skies. Like Evolving Skies and some of these other boost boxes are just gonna rise. It'll be more apparent probably for things are just been stagnant for a while and people are just rushing to it because they think there's good opportunity, or it's just because the price is already like up so much, so it's like a fusion strike, a lost origin case. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thanks. Bye.